Too bad, idiot. We're on.
Nice.
How is everybody?
I'm good. It's nice to be back.
It's nice to have you back, Adam.
Yeah, no, it's been a while because like we first did kicked off this stream, kind of helping design and brainstorm, doing our branding and all that. Back in was it July, and we're now at the end of December 2021.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Yeah. No, it's been a minute since we last had you on. Of course, welcome back to the stream, Adam. Always a pleasure to have you with us. And we have a special stream planned for tonight for like the one person who watches this stream. What up, Elst Dragoon?
He's not here yet.
Not here yet. Give him a minute. He'll be here. Tonight we are going to have our very first playtest of character creation, and everything that entails. This is like our first doing anything playtest for any of this stuff. Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I just lost.
There he is.
Okay, no. Adam's back. Okay. This is our very first playtest for Vault Peddlers, which is our flagship game. Adam helped us create kind of the basis of this world, so we felt like it was a really good opportunity to have him come back and play through not just the narrative, but the mechanics of this game, which we've been having a ton of fun with, right, Corey?
Oh yeah. We have. We've been having disagreements.
No.
So like right off the bat, we should probably say that like though this is a playtest, it is going to be a relaxed fit. Obviously, there's a lot of systems in Vault Peddlers that isn't done, and a lot of the mechanics that we'll encounter will like we've gotten to this point in the game where it's like it is mechanized, and so like if you touch one thing, it touches another, and so some of those interconnective tissue bits aren't there. So we will explain those as it goes on, but what we're going to be doing here is making the just basic characters using the character creation system that we've come up with, the different options that we have. I would call Vault Peddlers like a class-guided classless system. Yeah, it has classes, I guess. They're more of like concepts, though. And then beyond that, it's kind of a skill-buy system. So, Adam, you'll see a couple of things that I shared with you.
Yeah, I've got them open right here.
All right, so first things first, you'll notice we have the character sheet, the 1E character sheet. Just showing everyone this right now. I'll get that into play once we actually get to it. So like at the bottom, you'll see Taylor 1, Adam 1, Corey 1, so we can all make multiple characters. Everything has the drop-down options that we need. And it will, add everything up for us, too. So, cool. Good to go there. And then you'll see the document that Taylor lovingly prepared while I spent the week dying.
And I think that this is a good place for us to begin, because Adam, we mentioned before, you have helped us build some of this world. That being said, the year that we played together was called the Quiet Year. It takes place in the very first year, following a horrible cataclysm that wrecks the planet of Eba. Thing is, though, after that year, some pretty important stuff happens, and so we felt like it was a good idea to give you kind of a primer on the world that Vault Peddlers actually is, because it is very much based on what we did together, but it's got some important changes to it. And so I actually want to start with this section, the world of Eba, which I would actually love if you would narrate for us, if you feel up to it. Otherwise, I'll be happy to read it myself.
Absolutely. I've always been told I have a face for radio, so... Yeah, so I would be happy to lend the sonorous tones of my voice to this. I've got it open right here. The world of Eba. The old world has passed, so has that which killed it. You and yours are what's left with what remains. Eba is a post-collapse world. The end of days has come and gone, and the survivors have picked up the pieces. Ravaged by a fast-growing metal coral which has taken over a large portion of the sea and coastal land, humanity's few survivors banded together in 3 makeshift villages turned cities. The people of Ishtas, Vigil, and Aurid set themselves upon the matter of survival, learning to survive in this new world. That was when the aliens arrived. That was when the stars shattered. Colonial settlers touched down on Eba shortly after the disaster, just as humanity was getting its legs under it. Don't worry, this isn't a story of humans fighting bloodthirsty aliens. If you want that kind of xenophobia, play some other game, such as Warhammer. No, sir, these aliens proved to be critical to the survival of the species. This was true in the building of cities as well as the discovery of new native species, formed from the wasted technology of society long since past. Banding together, these elements of Star Shatter, the aliens, Creatronics, the mechanical beings, and Biologica, biological creatures, would work together to form the cradle of a new world. That being said, intentions weren't universally noble. Greed and avarice in every species quickly took their toll on these rising cities, where those with money quickly became those with power. Those with both, or either, quickly realized that old technology from civilizations that existed before the onset of the Quick Reef, metal coral, was the quickest path to further increase that power. Problem? That tech exists in ruins which are difficult to reach and dangerous to explore, making the payoff often not worth the risk of those not willing to explore. And that's where you come in. As a member of what the locals in Eba have come to call a Vault Peddler crew, you are one of the people tasked with exploring these ruins and recovering old tech for various clients. Who you work with and what you do is up to you. But this world is difficult. You may find your morals are quickly and easily compromised by the fundamental need to eat and provide for the members of your caravan. That's life, right?
Yay!
So, Adam, it was so weird when we were doing the quiet year because at so many points, without us prodding you at all, you had picked up on so many of the things that were close to come. And I think one of the things that really, like, I knew you were a good fit for, like, doing stuff with Vault Peddlers was we were talking about this ruin that had popped up on the edge of Ishtas, and you ended up describing what happened to the exploratory team that went to explore it, and you narrated it such that they all died. They were just immediately wiped out in this dangerous ruin, and I'm like, yes. this is the setup. This is exactly it.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a blast with that. I also have a terminal case of RPG brain, where, like, certain things just kind of, like, click. Like, as someone who's played Fallout 2, 4 or 5 times over, since I got a copy of it in like, my late teens, you know, this stuff kind of falls into place, but that was fun as hell. And it was good to see. Good to see. It's also, like, I think evidence the fact that this stuff is intuitive for your users is clear evidence that you and Corey have really put together a solid system. So let's get the show on the road.
Thank you.
I'd just like to point out that I still have Fallout 2 on disc.
Nice. I totally didn't get a fully legal copy. A friend of mine gave on a thumb drive.
That's dope. That's even cooler.
Fuck, that's so much more fun. Fuck.
She was a lot of fun. I had like a very basic old MacBook, and a friend of mine just, like, gave me Fallout 2 Mac on, like, a thumb drive. He was like, "Here, do this," and I was like, "All right, cool. Rest is history."
I remember Steve telling me once, he's like, "I don't understand why you always pick Bloody Mess. It doesn't do anything mechanically." And I looked at him and was like, "You just don't get me, man."
Yeah, I mean, it's also, like, classic Steve that he would be like, focused on the thing that's most mechanically efficient. I mean, bless Steve, but, like, Bloody Mess is fun.
I need it. You know, and Taylor, with what you were saying too, like, I think this harkens back on, like, something that we've talked about with Vault Peddlers, which is, like, of course we'd make a game about late stage capitalism and environmental collapse. Like,
right about what you know.
Yeah. So on that, let's get to the topic of character creation. We've condensed everything that we've written, or relevant information anyways, down to just some basic stuff here. I don't know if it's best for us to go through it, or let's go through character creation and then let Adam peruse the document as we build characters. And then
Yeah, I think
after
that's a
we
great
build
idea.
our characters, we can talk about the choices we picked and read the blurbs for each of them, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good. So yeah, Adam, the basic deal here is you're gonna pick a species, what kind of creature you are. We have a lot of different options for those. Your history, which is basically like your background, where you come from, and province. For each one of those, they have feats associated with them. You'll pick one of those feats, and you'll add those to your character sheet. Those basically give you kind of the fundamental basis of like who you are, where you come from, and what you do
Yeah.
in the Vault Peddler crew. I think what's going to probably take the most time, or at least what I and my mechanical brain think is going to take the most time, is really setting down points for attributes and skills. That's basic, just a very basic point by system.
Yeah.
I think it's probably best that we kind of move through the initial part, though, picking species, history, and province,
Well,
and then going into attributes and and skill.
Yeah, let's read through real quick like how it works. So like the breakdown of the game is like Taylor said, you're going to pick species, history, and province, and you will pick a feat associated with both of those. You're going to buy ranks in your attributes. Ranks go from 1 to 10, but you will only be buying 1 to 5 during character creation. Past that is advanced ranks and only for advancing your character. Skills, where I think the majority of like your know-how comes from, are based on evolving die, as if you're playing like Savage Lands or something. So it's D4, D6, D8, D10, and D12. You can only buy up to a D8, I believe, in this. Yeah, D10,
I believe that's correct.
D10
Yeah.
and D12 are only advanced. And from there, like your health and armor and movement are all calculated. And yeah, that's pretty much the game. Like we're gonna encounter as we're building these and like picking feats and stuff, a lot of different terminology that is indicative of the game that won't make sense. And when you encounter those, feel free to ask and we'll explain them.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Last thing before we get started, obviously feedback is super important. Let us know where you see holes, because you are naturally going to see holes that we don't. Corey, I believe you've also set up this document for Adam to leave comments in.
Right. Yeah. If he doesn't want to like bring anything up and just keep moving along, he can always just throw a comment right on there, and we'll see it.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, you'll buy attributes and ranks. Your health, armor, are all movement are all derived from that. So first things first, I guess we'll move through this as we go. We'll each of us make our first character. So we'll start with choosing a species and picking the appropriate feat for the said
Yeah,
species.
associated feat.
Yeah. So I'm going
Hey.
to open up that and resize.
And while Adam reads through these things, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you all which species I am picking for mine. I'm going with a fucking Embryophyte, because I think they're the coolest type. They're just fucking... They're like Ents, but like alien Ents, and that's the tightest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'll go ahead and read the description for them.
Yeah.
So, Embryophytes owe their sudden evolution from existing plant life to the arrival of Star Shatter. That's the arrival of aliens onto this planet. Unlike the Polyutar, Embryophytes saw little point in forming advanced societies. Instead, they remain in their home forests, rarely straying from their borders. They exist in smaller lineages of relatives, engaging in what most other species would call barbarism. This is especially true for the poor souls unlucky enough to enter their neck of the woods. There are, however, some Emberphyte who adventure beyond the edges of their home forest. Those who do aren't always looked upon kindly by strangers, but no one's going to tell them that to their face. So yeah, these are basically like tree people. One of the things that we did kind of intentionally here is that we left the definitions very wide open for what these species can be. So when we talk about Emberphytes, we can talk about like a whole tree. I actually think my Emberphyte's just a little bush.
Just a little guy?
Yeah, I think he's just a little bush. He's a little spry. He's a little spry, little sprig.
I like the idea of them calling their children sprigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, aliens, nice.
Aliens, tight. And I think for mine, I'm gonna go with photosynthesis.
What does photosynthesis do?
Photosynthesis means that while in direct sunlight, I get an additional 2 action points, or I can regenerate health at a faster pace than others. I'm actually going to leave
a comment that we should clarify
there. Yeah, because faster pace is not a certain thing.
So action points is how our game functions when you are in like combat. Basically, you get a 6 action point stock, and you can spend those. I think to do a basic action is 1, to do a basic attack is 2, to activate a feat is usually 3, to do a full movement is 2. So it's our action economy.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Corey, why don't you tell us about yours?
I don't know which one I want to pick. Adam, have you
all of this and you don't know. Okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I got this about 30 minutes before we hopped on, and I actually have had a bit of time to think about this, and I appreciate the twist you've done with humans by making them, in effect, like 21st century people, but courtesy of the exposure to Star Shatter, they have, or other like tech, might have certain willing or unwilling body modifications and things like that. So I'm gonna go with a human, but one that, whether due to exposure to technology or Star Shatter, has basically created sort of like something, the body creates something akin to endogenous steroids. So this human is unnaturally just like physically strong and muscular, to the point it's kind of freaky looking. And that will probably play into things. It also might, as long as we're just like fooling around with character ideas, as a consequence of like, I don't know, excess steroids or testosterone production, has a bit of a rage issue as well that goes with it. And it's the talent I'm going to take is Freaky Friday.
Oh, nice.
The one that, to read it out, at the cost of X action points, you may switch places with another willing participant within 1 hex of you, or X hexes of you.
Oh yeah, we use a hex grid. Because, hell yeah, hex grids. Go ahead and put under species humans. And then if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see the feats sections, and you'll have one set up for species. You can put the name of it and the description. Just copy and paste.
Excellent.
Cool. Okay, that being said then, Taylor, I was just giving everyone the opportunity to make a tunneler, but since they're all cowards, I will make the tunneler.
So, unfortunately, I do not have edit privileges on the character sheet.
Oh, I could change that.
If you don't mind, I promise I will not sabotage it. Simply put in the stats.
I thought I...
While Corey gets that handled, I'll go ahead and let you know. The tunnelers... No one is really sure where the tunnelers come from. Some say they're actually old tech themselves. Others say that they're kin to the Palutar, machines given sentience by alien energy. But whatever the actual cause, tunnelers exist as hive mind creatures living in subterranean cities. These societies are almost always very closed off to outsiders. However, the occasional tunneler can become what's called unplugged. And when that happens, they often rise to the surface, eager to explore it with as much vigor as they did the underground.
Interesting.
Can you edit now?
I can. Now I'm just trying to get the wrap text feature in here.
Okay, cool. So you can edit. Yeah, so tunnelers are... I love tunnelers. They're my best friends. And, no, I don't know. Like, I kind of, like, had a very big daddy kind of idea when I designed them and then drew what is essentially a very small Big Daddy. And I was like, oops. Then I was like, well,
So cute, though.
I was like, they don't own diving helmets. So, sacrifice your action points to yourself there, a type of your choice. An archivist discretion, you're subject to natural dangers of tunneling. You know what? I'm gonna go drill, baby, drill.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea. I don't know. I just think you can sacrifice your action points to be able to move through a solid barrier, type of your choice. Rock, steel, wood, etc. at half movement. At Archivist's discretion, you are subject to natural dangers of tunnelings, cave-ins, etc. I'm choosing this because I think it's a very useful thing to have in, you know, in a dungeon, essentially.
We're going into ruins, like, of course. That's like, yeah. Locked door, not for long.
So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Oh, Control Z. And then I'm gonna... how do you do wrap text, Adam?
So you're gonna have to go to format, and then if you scroll down, there'll be wrapping, and you can go to wrap.
Oh yeah. There you are. Cool. I didn't know that. Google Sheets. There we are.
Convenient.
All right. Cool.
All right. Step 1 is done. And now we are talking about provinces. So I'm just going to read this real quick. Life on the caravan requires cooperation. The wastes of Eba are dangerous, and the city is only slightly less so. As a result, your Vault Peddler crew has a number of different specialists, each of whom bring their own unique skill set to the table. Those specialists and their relative skill sets are defined in the section below. There's a little bit here about province feats versus caravan feats. We haven't quite gotten to that yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and open up the line here. Does anybody want to go first as far as which province they would like to begin with?
Yeah, I'll hop in real quick because this one kind of follows. I scrolled through the provinces a bit before we hopped on here.
Yeah.
And my character would likely be, surprise, surprise, a reckoner.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes, absolutely.
The slightly futuristic human with extremely high testosterone levels and/or as I said, endogenous steroid production is probably going to be kind of a smash 'em up fellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to read the reckoning text?
Yeah.
Please. Reckoner. Some folks are smart. Some folks talk good. Some folks have magic, and some folks have people skills. But you hit stuff very, very, very well. Reckoners are a common sight on Vault Peddler away teams, although their services are often considered a last resort. When shit hits the fan, the Shepherd defends and the Reckoner attacks.
Yeah.
And with these, you pick one of the 3 feats, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Plain and simple.
Nice.
Plain and simple's really good. Yeah.
You're going to notice the difference between me and Taylor's naming conventions very quickly.
If the feat sounds like it was named by a 5-year-old, it's probably mine.
Yeah, well, I also, speaking of Fallout, like, there are some, like, old Fallout feats that are like that.
Yeah.
That are named like that. This is also great because I love, like, seeing when they're too creative, when there's, like, a creative team made of 2 people, and you can obviously tell their influences. It's like McCartney and Lennon. Like, is the song like a tragic, pain-riddled ode to childhood trauma? That's Lennon. Is the song a whimsical number about a submarine? That's Paul McCartney. Like,
and if it's about an octopus's garden, that's my boy
Ringo.
That's Ringo. Okay, he writes great songs. Come on, let's be fair. I like a Ringo song.
Yeah. And every once in a while, they let George Harrison write one, and then people forgot about it.
Yeah, right?
Anyway, I'm going with Pain and Simple.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Oh, Anna, can you read Pain and Simple for us?
Yeah, Pain and Simple. You are very, very good at hurting people. Take a +1 to your brutality and a -1 to your logica.
Yeah, which is, so right away, I guess, I guess you'll have to mark that because I didn't put negative rules in, which is something we should probably talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Because I also was thinking about we should probably talk about whether or not 0 is an option, because in that case you can have a character theoretically with 0 movement.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, or we should.
That's fascinating. I'm imagining, like, a character that was, like, severely injured in an accident, but is also highly intelligent, and, like, they have to be carried around by someone.
I mean, maybe that.
Or a
Yeah.
cat attack.
I also like that you have the background so the cat came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just this beautiful winter landscape, and this just terrifying, gigantic orange tabby just plows through the evergreen.
Taylor, why don't you hit me with what your Ember fight's gonna be?
Yeah, so, okay. I've been working on 2 ideas here. One, I'm thinking either a Croaker, which kind of is like the medic of the group, or 2, I'm thinking about a dealer, because I kind of like the idea of this little bush, like, taking the lead on negotiations. And I think between the 2, I'm going to go with dealer.
Oh, cool.
So, dealer, as a vault peddler, your life revolves around money. You need it to survive, and the other members of your crew are counting on you to provide it so that they can thrive. That's where your dealer comes in. Either using connections or just a silver tongue, they are responsible for taking the lead in negotiations with clients, as well as merchants who sell your equipment. And I'm going to go ahead and say I'm taking my place in all spheres. You've spent time in back alley deals, harbor towns with degenerates and thieves, and the manners of archivists all over Eva. Through it all, you've held on to one talent. You know how to turn their heads and keep them where you want them. During combat as a regular action, you may use this feat to draw the attention of one enemy combatant. During their turn, they will move towards attacking you and are stalwart in their cause. Their armor nodes are reduced by 2 for 2 turns.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
Yeah. And Corey, tell us a little bit about what you're going with.
All right, so I've been thinking. I was thinking of going spoiler, just because I really like the class spoiler. So like our provinces, our class system is all based on like names that people would call these people in not good company.
It's basically slang and shit talking.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Because no one really likes Vault Peddlers, and that's the fun of it. So I think I'm gonna go Pharaoh.
Ooh, hell yeah.
So, Pharaoh is the leader, great at tactics, but they consider you expendable. A nickname given to the person barking orders, the Pharaoh is in charge of everything. Whether coordinating contracts with the dealer, measuring caravan resources with the mother, or working with intel with the spoiler, the Pharaoh has their hands in every dish. In some cases, the Pharaoh is a de facto position, with one overworked person taking on the roles that aren't currently filled. Other caravans are so well staffed they don't need a Pharaoh. Whatever the case in your caravan, the Pharaoh has the final say. So yeah, I just like the idea of this little man being, like, in charge of things.
I'm also imagining this little guy barking orders at, like, my enormous hulking reckoner. This guy who's probably at least like 6'10".
Yeah.
Also, for all of your 1.5 viewers, we're joined by a special guest from another species. Say hi to Marty, everyone.
What up,
Hey,
Marty?
Marty.
Oh my goodness, he's laying like a baby.
He's
like a
funny.
baby.
He loves to be held like a baby. Cats are wild.
This is Izzy. She says hi.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, Izzy. So yeah, looking at the, you develop a strong skill of reading them. At the start of a combat, you can assume one die type from the caravan. Ooh, that is an interesting one.
Which are you? What are you going with?
Negotiate. Point across. It's leading respect from those around you. That being said, caravan morale only goes as far. Committing support. I am going to roll Master Tactician.
Ooh, all right.
Excellent. It's good that somebody knows tactics in this group.
Someone has to, and it's this little man.
I know one tactic. It's called "Look at me."
I know one tactic. It's smash.
Paste, and then Control V. Why'd my purple go away? I can change that. Format. All right, yeah. Wrapping. Oh yeah, it's because I got that table in there. But that being said, all right. Now we are on to histories. So histories break down a little bit differently. Each history has like a blanket base history, like clergy or criminal or whatever, but then that breaks down into 2 options you can pick, and each option has multiple feats associated with it. So you'll pick your base history, like authority, clergy, cursed, familial, merchant, nautilus, nobility, rapscallion, or vagabond, and then you'll hit your specifics, which is what the specific history is.
Right.
So I'm gonna just pick off of the. I'm not gonna look at these specifics. I'm just gonna click off this list. I don't know which one I'm gonna pick. I know I'm gonna pick Nautilus.
Ooh, all right.
And then I'll pick the specifics after.
Okay. Let's see here. Actually having a tough time right now. I think I'm gonna go with. Oh fuck. I think I'm gonna go with Magnate. Actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the base history for that is
Merchant.
Merchant.
Yeah, I think that makes sense with me being a dealer.
What's a magnate say?
Yeah. So, Magnate. Of course, there wouldn't be much need for items of antiquity, reworked to life or otherwise, if there weren't men who could assess their value and worth. A magnate makes a name for themselves, evaluating goods and perfecting the craft of mercantilism. And you take a salty tone when they refer to a magnate, but ounces to pounds, you'll be glad for the resources they bring into your community, should you choose to live in one. And I'm taking my favorite feat.
I fucking hate you.
Business lobes.
I love how the feat is literally just called business loans.
Hell yeah, it is.
Nope, it's
Business
called
lobes.
business lobes.
Lobes, even better.
It is a reference to Star Trek The Next Generation. I'm not sorry. You have a good sense of business and the expenses involved in doing so. When attempting to negotiate a point in a contract, you may re-roll your die.
So that brings us to contract negotiation, which is a whole point in our game. Before you like set out on whatever a vault that you're going to is, and jobs don't have to traditionally be like dungeon delves, but they do have to. They have to be like some sort of conflict situation. So if you're going into a city and like unseating the king, you could have a contract that's telling you to do that, and you have to follow the rules that you negotiate in the contract in order to get payout for the system. So part of the game is contract negotiation. to get a better contract for you.
Excellent.
Sorry.
All right, bud.
Which
That's fine.
I think leaves me.
Yeah, I actually go for it.
Wait, Corey, have you gone yet? You went, right?
I just chose Nautilus. I haven't picked which one I'm going to be yet.
Go ahead and do that one. I've still got some deliberation here.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go with Depth Hunter. Be it the riders of the Iron Serpent and Orad, or divers of the maligned and poisoned depths of the shore, Depth Hunters have one commonality. They are here to hunt monsters, and they are damned good at it too. With a few good men and some pitiful wooden stakes, I've seen beings half my size capsize titans. So, I just like the idea of this little man of authority, bringing down giant monsters.
You're about the captain? Heard he fucking murdered a giant metal serpent one time.
One time? Time reared with the Church of the Metal Serpent and Orad has brought you face to face with large beasts in Twisted Middle. You may move as if you had an additional 4 movement nodes when facing off with creatures of a larger tag size than you, as long as your movement finishes an adjacent tag to them. So we haven't put in tag sizes yet, but I imagine that the tag size of a tunneler is small, so I'm going to choose canal movement because I'm going to be highly mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this
Oh,
little
yeah,
man.
I need to...
And then format. Yeah, man, I like this little bastard. I gotta name him something.
Yeah, that's kind of crucial.
What are you going for, man?
So, I've been looking through all of these, and they're all great. But I think, like, the one, just based on this character, who's shaping up to be quite a fellow, I think I'm going to go with a Marauder.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's
from the Vagabond class.
Yeah.
And I'll read the text here. Marauder. Many folks in EBA take a romantic view of the vagabond. Free individuals of purpose, not bent to the yoke of city or society. Truth be told, these romanticized heroes are often just that, a romantic fiction. More often than not, you have marauders, bloodthirsty, and with the modus operandi of might makes right. So next time you see a stranger approaching from the east, send someone out to check the hills, or else. And I'm thinking of going with Smoldering Eyes.
Hell yeah.
Potentially, because this character is obviously going to have a brutality score through the roof because he's just scary as shit. And Smoldering Eyes, the text there is, your life has been one of bloodshed and wanton cruelty, both inward and outward, something that is noticeable by those you deal with in close quarters. When you roll an interrogation check, you may instead roll brutality.
Yeah, that'll do.
Shit, Jesus Christ. This dude is terrifying.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm picturing Javier Bardem with a serious pituitary gland issue.
Get at us, Javier Bardem.
Okay, so Taylor, are we gonna do which round are we doing here for point buy?
I'm sorry?
Because we had 2 options for which point buy we were going to do.
Right. Okay, so...
Let's do small first, big after.
Yeah, so remind me here. So the numbers that we have at purchase skills, that is... 684 is what?
That's for half of everything. We were looking...
120 or 200. That's
Yeah.
what we're choosing between.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do our first one with 120, and then we'll do our second one with 200.
So basically, you have 120 points to spend on your attributes and skills according to the attribute and skill buy system.
Excellent. Okay, you said 120?
120, correct.
Gotcha. All right. I'm pulling this back up there again.
Yeah.
And so, between both attributes and skills.
Correct.
Well, no, wait. No, that's just for attributes. An additional rank is 4 points. For the die evolutions for the skills, it's 2 times the next level up. So if it's a D6, it's 12 points. A D8 is 16 points.
Yeah, but
if you were doing a D10, it would be 20 and 24.
You have 120 points total, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like the modified point buy.
Yeah.
Cool. So just again to make sure that I'm getting the mathematics correct here, if I wanted to put, say, a 3 in ferocity, not like I'm going with that one for any specific reason, that would be how many points to go to 3?
12, right?
Let me take a look. Sorry, I'm not on that page. The world of Viva, character creation, point to buy, purchase skills. Where is the purchase? Did we not put purchase attributes in here?
It's right there under purchase skills.
Oh, it's under purchase skills. I'm sorry, I thought it was.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, every player begins
one additional rank
with...
costs 4 points.
Yep.
Yeah, 1 additional rank is 4 points. So if you were getting it up to 3, that would be 12, right?
Yes, I think so. I passed 2nd grade math.
I didn't.
I said right in all seriousness. I was not being shitty. My degrees are in history, not math.
Yeah, here's the worst part. I ostensibly have a graduate degree in economics. Don't ask me anything.
It's an honest question. Okay, tight. Let's see here. So...
Elstragoon asked when we were putting.
So, I'm looking at the stats here. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
I'm looking at the stats here. Tribalism. Does that just make you racist, or?
No. It's how you deal with your tribe. It is like dealing with community, basically.
Excellent.
I actually think I wrote a description of each of these. If you go up to Taylor, I wrote these somewhere, didn't I?
I think maybe at one point we did. Those might be in the old document.
The old document. You're right.
I don't know if we imported those over.
Hold on.
I can do that really quick if you want.
Yeah, I would love that, actually.
Yeah. Hang on for me 1 sec.
So Elstragoon, to... yeah, you get only points to heart. Elstragoon, to answer your question, the caravan system as we see it, whichever direction we choose to go with it, is going to take place, like, after you build your individual character, everyone sits down and builds the caravan together. That being said, we haven't written the caravan rule build for either one of the systems that we're choosing between. We just wanted to get our last stream of the year to have like some kind of play, so we're just doing the base character creation, and then we are going to work on making all 3. Oh yeah, it's evolved. We have 3 caravan systems now that we want to try.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
The best. Okay. I have just gone ahead. It looks not
messy.
great,
Yeah.
but it's right underneath that table with all of the skills and attributes on it. You should see your definitions for various attributes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna erase it so it's just the attributes.
Oh, yeah, that's probably a good call.
So how do you relate with or threaten those things? So yeah, I guess it is kind of just how to be a racist.
That's fine. Every group needs one.
Do they?
I don't feel like they do, but
That was, for your viewers, that was sarcasm.
yeah, I love you walked right into a brand new stream and just
It's like last time when I made Adam call people out publicly on stream.
Yeah, Terramunda Gaming Studios does not endorse any form of bigotry, even of the fantastical nature.
Okay.
So what do we have for tribalism? Social nature of communities and individuals to relate with or threaten. Those things are governed by this attribute. Well, it's only a part of it, though. Okay. Let's see here.
Yeah, I guess I should do point by now.
Yeah, now is when the stream gets like really
real
silent as we all
quiet.
as we all like pull out the calculator on our table on our computers and just try and figure out what the hell we're doing.
So, I mean, like, when I'm doing point by, I usually throw like a base amount into the point into what I'm going to. I know I'm going to edge up. So I think. Emotional temperature. Yeah, I want my guy to be like adaptable. So I know I'm going to put some ranks in adaptation. I'll put 2 ranks in there. I like the idea of him being hardy, so I'm going to put 2 points in clockwork. We probably should, Taylor, start at 1 on everything for everyone, right?
I'm starting to think the same thing. Just looking at this, I feel like that's probably.
Okay.
Because like you said, like particularly I'm concerned in terms of movement, and like you can also end up theoretically not having any health if this is all a derived statistic.
So what we are going to do then is everything's going to start on 1. Taylor, do you want to go ahead and
change that on the dock?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, we learned something about our own game.
Hey, your game is dumb and your people are gonna die.
Congratulations, I made a character who can't talk. My character starts dead.
Nice.
Game over.
That's how you end Vault Peddlers if you really don't want to do a Vault Peddlers campaign and your group wants to. Tight. I have a way to do this.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna note here attributes all start at 1. All right, cool.
Oh, Adam, you get an automatic boost in some attributes, don't you?
Yeah, I think I get an additional 1 to brutality.
Nice.
Plus 1 to
ferocity.
plus 1 to brutality, and then a -1 to logica. So your logica actually needs to go back to 0.
Oh yes. I could not discern anything. The most irrational man ever.
I don't need to think.
Let's see here.
Tasha, I think the idea that he, I want to look at some of the skills too before I move on. Yeah, I'm gonna take a. So what is it? ×2. So to do your skills, it is ×2 for the next level up die. So if you're going up to a D6, it costs 12 points. So it is expensive to do skills. And I'm gonna bring my hardiness up to a D6.
So, question for the pain and simple feat.
Yes.
That's supposed to be a +1 to your brutality, not your ferocity.
Oh, what does it say?
It says your brutality, because brutality is a die, whereas ferocity is a modifier.
Correct. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it says
Corey. I don't know. How do you want to handle that?
It says to your brutality.
Yes.
Oh, then yeah, I would take a D6. Take a D6 ranking in brutality, which is pretty hefty.
Well, hang on though. Well, hang on though, because then how do you get a -1 to what is it?
Logica.
So you take a -1 to your attribute and a +1 plus skill die.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, it's
No, that actually does make
Yeah.
sense. I thought that it was affecting two different skills and not one skill and one attribute.
I mean, and like balance-wise, I think that makes a lot of sense because Logica is going to affect a lot more systems. Brutality is a skill, so it's like much more pointed and direct. And it is a higher roll, like you get a higher bonus for it.
Yeah, that also allows me to get a D10 to brutality without having to do with the hyper cost of points, because it automatically bumps you up. So that seems to balance out.
Yeah. Did we do? Can you do advanced die on Taylor on? I don't see why not.
On character creation?
Yeah.
I think we said no. Hang on. Oh no, yeah, it does. It just costs more.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Dope.
Though in this case, if I'm reading correctly, Pain and Simple allows you to, if you point mine to a D8, Pain and Simple bumps you automatically into a D10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, that's very cool.
Fuck. All right.
We got min-max, man. Good.
Oh yeah!
I do not have ranks in ferocity. I am a little soft boy. Please do not harm me.
My character is all ferocity.
Please don't hurt me.
I'm going to need you to not hurt me.
If you don't mind, please don't hurt me.
I'm very small, and I have no
No
money.
money. You can imagine how hard things are.
Your character sheet just reads, "I am a small bean."
A very small bean. I'm gonna bring my my obfuscation up to 3, and my networks up to 3, and that is going to be each of those is 8, so that's minus 16. We need min-maxers, man. They teach us about our system.
Yeah, well, I mean, this has been max in large part because this guy's going to be like a 3-trick pony.
That's how he was designed.
This is why Taylor always yells at me in my games. He's like, "Your character's broken," and I'm like, "My character's broken at one thing."
It's not the character isn't. It's not a what's the word? It's not a glitch. It's a function. It's a feature.
So let's see here. I'm going to take.
Gotta save some for skills. I keep like trying to pour stuff into attributes. I'll tell you this much, Corey. If we do decide to go with 200, I'm gonna feel very powerful.
After this, yeah, it's gonna be wild. Yeah. So I'm gonna bring up my tribalism to 4, which would be so that's 8. 12 minus 12.
Oh, let's see here. Okay, so die evolution is 2 times next level die up.
4.
Always one min-maxer. True.
So I'm gonna bring Grace up to a D8, and that is going to be minus 16. And then I can actually not do any more skills, but I can do 2 more. Oh, this actually works out very nicely. I'm going to do 2 more ranks, and we said we could do up to 5, rank 5, right?
Well, you can do past 5. I think it just like 6, 7, and 8 or whatever are twice as much.
All right. I'm done.
Shit, really?
Yep.
Fuck, I've got 84 more points that I've got to do here. Hang on one sec.
I've got exactly 4 more points that I've got to figure out.
How are y'all so fast at this? My brain is not meant for this. Okay.
Adam Taylor says he likes to say he likes narrative games and then pushes for hardcore mechanics when we're...
Oh, yes.
He's just mad because he's turned me. He doesn't like what he's created.
The monster has turned on its creator.
Right.
Oh boy. Oh, I gotta come up with a name for this fella. Yeah, I got a name.
Holy shit, my character has 3 movement. However, I can also switch places with another character, so that's cool. Thank you, Freaky Friday.
Also, I made a little neat checkbox system so you can. So we kind of made like we couldn't decide between an HP pool or a wound point system, so we chose both. You have a pool of wounds basically that degrade over hits. So
I am done. Skills went super fast.
yeah. All right, cool. Let's talk about our guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Ooh, pick me. Actually, go, Corey.
No.
You go.
Okay. No, you go. You're the invited guest of ours.
Excellent. As the guest of Dishonor, I'm happy to go from here.
Okay.
So, yeah, my character's name is Hank.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
I'm Roger McPherson.
He has to use a modifier to propane and propane accessories.
Fucking beautiful. Shit.
Hank is a human, as I mentioned earlier, but courtesy of, again, some form of mutation, whether it's a pituitary issue, whether it's endogenous steroids or something, he's just this massive lumbering hulk of a human being. Just weirdly, freakishly big and powerful looking, but is also just kind of a lumbering mass. Hank's background is he is a marauder. He is a reckoner, and he smashes things real hard. He has 4 points in adaptation and clockwork, and 5 points in ferocity. 1 point in the rest of the skills, except for Logica, where he has 0. He has literally never had a rational thought in his life, apparently. So that's that. To give the to connect attributes to background, and to go to skills, Hank is clearly both very physically powerful and also kind of a brutal and brutish character, but also has some capacity with like very practical skills like repair.
Oh, nice.
So all of his skills are baseline, except for Hank has a 10 in brutality, a D10 in brutality, a D8 in composure,
Nice.
a D8 in hardiness, a D8 in morale, and a D6 in repair. So, very hard to frighten, very hard to physically take down, completely viciously brutal as a human being and as just a presence, and not too bad at putting together things mechanically.
Can I just say, you are my nightmare as a DM.
I love Hank.
How am I supposed to balance any encounter between your guy and the other 2 characters?
Well, you could, from a role-playing perspective, deal with the fact that Hank is just a completely irrational, violent freak.
Yeah.
Like, sure, he'll probably be scary in combat encounters, but like, what if you have to like tactually deal with the circumstance?
Yeah, we accidentally brought Hank to the negotiation table, or
Smash.
or like in the situation that nobody made a dealer, like somebody has to be the de facto negotiator. What if nobody made a face? Okay, we're sending Hank. We drew straws.
I'm imagining, Corey, as the Pharaoh, at least half of your day-to-day work will just be keeping Hank from going ballistic. Like, it's like a really disturbed version of Letty from Of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
You just talk down this, like, hulking berserker every 5 seconds.
It's
Just like the idea. I like the idea of Corey's character coming to my character and being like, "Listen, you have to take Hank with you to negotiation.
he wants.
I'm sorry, we don't have anybody to watch him. He has to come with you."
You have to hire a babysitter to go watch Hank.
He wants to go. I don't know what to tell you.
You come along and you're like, "The Pharaoh said I could come."
Except it's instead of this, it's like this like gigantic looming guy with this like tangle of black hair over his face, looking down. He's like, "The Pharaoh said I could come, okay?" And I'm like holding like this enormous lead pipe / sledgehammer, being like, "You said I could come."
Actually, interestingly, what are your health and armor and movement?
All right, so to go to the derived attribute, Hank has 10 health.
Damn, Hank!
5 armor.
Okay.
And exactly 3 movement.
Oh my god. All right.
Damn.
Corey, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
So my little tunneler, my Nautilus Depth Hunter tunneler, he's led an interesting life. His name's D1. Yeah, he's just a little guy. I think he's pretty affable, and he's very good at like not negotiating, but like adapting to his circumstance. So I have a 3 in adaptation. I have a 5 in clockwork because I imagine he's been hit like a son of a bitch. Just fighting monsters will do that. I've got a 2 in ferocity because you got to sink those hits sometimes. 3 in networks, a 3 in obfuscation, and a 4 in tribalism. Holistics, Logica, and Nebulae are all at 1. As for my skills, I'm spread out a little bit actually. So I have a D6 in brutality. I have a D8 in grace with a +3 modifier. So this little sucker can move. Not to mention, like, I can move, if I'm moving through an adjacent hex with a creature bigger than me, which is most creatures, I get what is it, a +4 to my movement. And just so you're aware, Taylor, my movement is currently sitting at an 8. So when I'm in adjacent hexes on the battlefield to creatures larger than me, I can move 12 hexes. This little sucker, yeah, I chose D1 for a reason. Kids on a D1 team, for sure. I just like the idea of he's like, 2 feet tall, like just clucking.
I love that. Like, your guy could just, like, zip around the board. Hank has exactly 3 movement nodes. Just lumbering, like, earth shaking, just womp, womp, womp.
So yeah, I chose I have a hardiness of D6, but I have a 5 modifier to hardiness, so that's pretty cool. I have a repair of D6, and that's it for my skills. My other 2 derived statistics are I have a 6 in health, so not the highest, but I got a 9 in my armor.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dog, D1's cool.
Y'all are much better defenders. Right, so let me tell you about...
I do like the idea of D1 sitting on Hank's shoulders because he knows he can get down very quickly.
That actually would not shock me because your guy is like physically tiny. Well, not relatively speaking. Right?
Yeah, just like 2 feet tall.
Yeah, that's definitely happening. He's sitting on one of Hank's shoulders.
Okay. So my character is Olive. Olive is a rogue emberfight turned hardened criminal who has spent some time in the back streets and has made good use of her business savvy to rise to prominence in this particular Vault Peddler crew, which she routinely refers to as the best Vault Peddler crew, despite the fact that objectively it is not. objectively that is not true. As far as skills go, or attributes first, so I took a 5 in tribalism, which thanks very much for making that the racist attribute. It's also the most important. It's also the most important one for dealers because it directly refers to your ability to like interrogate and like parlay with people.
Yep.
I took a 3 in Nebulae, a 2 in Obfuscatia, and a 2 in Adaptatia, which all kind of lend themselves to this general sort of skill set. My highest, I actually didn't go into advanced attributes on anything, unlike both of you. I went a little bit more just kind of spread out across the board. But I've got a D8 in Parlay, a D8 in Appraisal. I've got a, let's see here, D6 in, I actually took a D6 in Skullduggery, which I thought was good just from my province skill, like spending time in back alley deals. I feel like that made sense.
You're big on deals.
Yeah, big on deals. I have a D6 actually in Interrogation, which I think is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And a D6 in Deductive. That has led me to a total of 6 health nodes, 3 armor nodes. I am very soft, and 8 movement nodes, which actually, like, I can zip, I can move.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, like, I guess I should have also mentioned this when I was running over my character sheet. Hank technically has a D10 in interrogation with a +5 modifier.
That's true.
Because of the smoldering eye speed.
Yeah.
Which means that he basically looks at someone and they start shitting themselves.
Els Dragoon, Nebulae is the understanding and control of the arcane and mystic, the manipulation of the webways that run counter to and through all things. Those who find themselves swimming the pathways of the unseeable, bridled with Nebulae. It's not necessarily in my skill set to have Nebulae, although most Ember fights, kind of like most new species, have a lot of Star Shatter in them. Nebulae also refers to... Hang on one second. Did I take Nebulae? Oh, I took a 3 in Nebulae. Why did I take that? Oh, hang on. That's supposed to be a network.
Oh, word.
I just clicked the wrong one. I was like, why did I take that? That doesn't make any fucking sense. And like, I was trying to justify it. Like,
I mean, like, at the same time, like, being able to, like, assess magical items, like, that makes sense for somebody
well,
in the...
sure,
yeah.
but like, appraisal is literally a network skill.
True,
Like,
yeah.
And like, same with our archival stuff. So no, sorry. Thank you for asking that. It's not Nebulae that I had the skill set in. It's actually in networks. I just clicked the wrong little thing.
So, our caravan consists of Olive, Hank, and D1. I love them.
Love it. Absolutely adore them.
Do you guys have time to do a 200-point build? I think it'll go quicker this time.
I mean, given that we know what we're working with a little bit more, I'm down if y'all are.
Yeah, we just hop over to the second character sheet.
Yeah, just hop on over.
Awesome. Do we do a 200-point iteration of our characters?
We're gonna start completely fresh. Choose new species, province, and history. Yeah. I'm gonna pick at random, and you know what? Let's just build them, and then we'll talk about them afterwards. How about that?
Sick.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
And now the stream goes silent.
Yeah, the stream goes
I'm
silent
gonna
for-
still talk because you can't shut me up.
You can't control me.
Actually, we probably should. I'm gonna look at your guys' occasionally to make sure we're not choosing the same things. As far as species, province, and tell you what, let's just tell each other which species and province we're going to pick, not explaining anything.
I'm gonna go Polyatar Weaver.
Ooh.
Huh.
What are you gonna go, Adam?
Give me a quick second. You can run with the story.
All right, I'm gonna go Builder, and I am going to go Spoiler.
All right.
My history.
Oh, and the Grinch had a terrible idea.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'm going to go with a builder.
Oh. I'm gonna change mine then. I'm gonna go to an Airshade.
Okay.
Hell yeah, roach people.
Hell yeah, rich people kick ass.
Oh yeah, if you are doing something new that we haven't done yet, I'm just gonna go ahead and read my 2 things that I've chosen so far, just because, I mean, I'm sure the stream is gonna be flipping around on different screens.
Mm-hmm.
So Polyutar, for those of you not familiar, which is everyone, the arrival of Star Shatter, Xenos energy, had a unique effect on the bioorganisms lingering in the masses of trash and garbage left behind. Sentient beings formed of refuse quickly emerged primitive societies that evolved into principalities and regencies. Polyutar in modern day are widely known as a proud people who are quick to take issue with pointing out their origin. They're trash people. In turn, they are known to often tease, especially humans, for the slow rate of their own evolution.
Hell yeah.
And the Weaver, Sand in the Gears doesn't quite describe the level of complication the arrival of Star Shatter inflicted on Eva. In addition to dealing with old tech systems, shady negotiators, and natural dangers, Vault Peddlers also face arcane threats while on the job. This can come in the form of corrupted old tech, the influence of New World deities, or even just other awoken Vault Peddlers. Whatever the threat, it is the responsibility of the Weaver to identify these threats and take them out before they become too serious.
Hell yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, and so I think I'm going to go with a builder who's a spoiler for his province and clergy for their history.
Whoa, dope. All right.
And I guess we can do the full character reveal once we're done getting stats down.
Yeah, for sure.
In the meanwhile, cue up your favorite elevator music for the next 5 minutes.
We will read about the builders and all that afterwards too. Ooh, yeah. So I actually chose Rope Walker.
Oh yeah.
Just because, let's represent some rogues. And I chose the Arashe, which are our elves, our versions of elves.
A fucking Arashe Rope Walker. That's the tightest shit ever.
Hell yeah.
That is the scariest thing I can fucking imagine. Can you imagine being a fucking guard on patrol? You look up and there is a 7-foot metal cockroach flying through the air coming for you.
Yeah, I also love how your version of elves are metal cockroaches.
Yes.
We're not sorry about it.
Every fantasy setting inevitably has them. I also love how you've done the twist for, the whole token thing is the whole, quasi-racialized. They're very fair and beautiful and refined people. They're basically English. But, in this case, they're just fucking roaches.
They're roaches. They're roach people.
Roaches have feelings, too.
True. So Taylor, we can only go. Wasn't it? We could only go up to 5 ranks at character creation.
I feel like I remember that being the case, but I can't find it anywhere on the actual document.
Dope. Okay. Cool. Oh, make sure to bring all of your attributes to 1, everyone.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Dun, dun, Rope walker. Cost of rope walker often gets their start in the cities of Eva, taking what they can, taking what they need, and when get caught. The cost of 2 action nodes during combat sequence. When your movement would normally be considered challenged, you may instead move unchallenged. Oh, I like that a lot. This character is going to be able to move very well.
Excellent.
Uh, 200 points on the clock.
I gotta turn that purple. Why isn't it purple? Is that Aziz Ansari thing where he said he saw 50 Cent at a restaurant? He ordered a grapefruit soda, and it came. He asked, "Why isn't it purple?"
That's so good. This is a totally random story, but like speaking of 50 Cent, my gym is next to a sort of a bougier hotel in DC.
Yeah.
And they sort of have an arrangement where they will like let the guests from the neighboring hotel like access the gym for a day whenever they stay, like a promotional thing and all that.
Yeah.
And one time, like I was like doing bench presses, and the guy next to me like was this like big hulking guy with a huge gray hoodie covering his face, like deliberately covering his face. And like this person, like when they finished their like set, they like got up and they dropped their key card, like their hotel key card, out of their pocket. And like I say they drop this, and this person like walks off, and I pick up the key card. And, like a gym courtesy thing, wanted to get back to this guy. And so it falls down, like, hey, excuse me, I think you dropped this. And this person turns around, and this like hulking person in a gray sweatshirt with a hoodie was 50 Cent.
Whoa!
And he was like, oh, thanks, and just like took it and just kept walking, like clearly not wanting to like be recognized at all. But it's like, oh, that's the story of how I gave 50 Cent his key card back.
Hey Taylor.
Yeah.
Both of the skills you wrote for the background I pick are the same. Are the same feat.
Wait, what?
Go to Cursed Demi-Noct and look at the feats.
Sec. Demi-Noct. There we are. Yeah, they are. Oh, wait, are you a Demi-Noct?
Yeah, dog.
Oh, dude, I was doing a Demi-Noct.
Oh, were you really?
I was, yeah. I can pick something else if
No,
you
I'll change.
prefer
I'll change.
to take that.
I'll change.
All right. Yeah, that is a good note. We need to change that. I'm gonna put a comment in here. These are the same feats. You dummy. Okay.
Now I gotta think again.
So,
oh yeah, we should probably explain what the term Demi-Noct means.
wait, well, I know we were planning on holding that off and doing everything when we present our characters.
Who's composure? Alright, I'm going to... boy, I don't know which one to choose, guys.
Yeah, I'm kind of... like, I know what I need. I don't know what I want, how to flavor this person.
I'm going to choose Artisan. Merchant. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do, man. Speculator. not writing. Alright. Did we read what the builders are?
I don't know. I don't think we did.
Yeah.
Because we didn't make a builder last time, right?
No, we didn't.
Yeah. So I don't know. You can read it now, or you can wait till we're presenting.
I'll wait till we're presenting. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
I like the builders. A lot of these were, like, one thing we did try to do, which Adam mentioned, was, like, we tried to eschew normal, like, fantasy tropes. And, I don't know, sci-fi tropes too, I guess. I don't know. We tried to do something very unique with this species. Says start small and give people the increases later on as bonuses. The only downside. So that's actually what I'm thinking too, El Stragoon, is to start small. We just wanted to see what it felt like. Honestly, after building 120 points character, like that felt fine. I don't think it needs to be more than that, but
I'm kind of with you, honestly. I think it depends maybe on what kind of campaign you want to run. Like, we might want to include different options.
Yeah, that is definitely a choice that we could make. And it's not one I hate either.
But yeah, I'm kind of with you at this point. I would sort of just do the standard at the 120.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm going to do my obfuscation to a 5, which is minus, what is that, 32? Right? Wait, no. Just 16. Minus 16. I'm going to bring my networks to 3, which is minus 8. I'm going to bring my composure to, what is that, at 8, and then switch to 12 plus a 16. Here to 6. Alright, boys. Alright. I'm getting into the swing of it, man. I'm starting to think that, that this is something, Taylor. We might have built something cool here.
44 from. I don't want that.
I'm gonna bring my Logica up to 12. I'm gonna bring my fuck it. I'll bring my appraisal up to. All right. Up to a 2, minus 4. I like point buy systems. I just think that they're fun.
Oh yeah, they're pretty cool. And also spare you the whole rolling shit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think rolling always comes, like, I think stat array is a better option for D&D anyways. Everyone wants to roll because it's fun, but it's like, as a DM, that gets very... I got great. Shit. Oh, wait, no, I'm good. Minus 12. Man, these characters are a lot beefier.
Yeah.
Much beefier.
Yeah. Remember that the point cost changes if you go above a D10 or above a 5.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Fuck.
I'll be back in a hot second.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. Point buy gets kind of wild with this many points. I agree with Elstragoon there. That
Yeah.
I think 120 feels right.
I think if you're wanting to do like a fucking superhero campaign,
Starting gig is...
200 is tight.
Yeah.
If you want to start yourself as like an established vault peddling crew, then maybe it would be a good fit for that. But man, this is a lot for starter.
Yeah. 120 felt good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was going to be too low.
Yeah.
So I'm really surprised.
One thing I'm pleasantly surprised with here is how natural the like point buy feels here. Like rank at 4 and then ×2 for the dice evolution for skills feels good.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done too.
Yeah. Wow, my character is way more mid-max this time. I would be proud.
I just gotta name my
I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. You there?
Hey, team. I'm muted.
Oh.
No, I can hear you.
I can hear you. Can you not hear us? He
You
can't
hear us?
He can't hear us.
You can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't. Okay.
End call, recall.
Huh.
Everybody disconnect.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Adam, disconnect. Sorry, guys. We just got a little bit of All right. Start video call. Turn off my camera.
Okay, I can hear Corey. Adam? I'm
Adam.
going to say that's a no. Adam?
That's a no. Adam can't hear us.
Yo, testing?
Yeah, I can hear you. Maybe he came unplugged.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, cool.
Tight. Thank God.
So yeah,
Like, oh no.
we were just talking about how 120 feels like a lot more natural for, I think, a starting character for this.
Yeah.
200 feels like a lot.
Yeah. Now, I do legitimately like putting a note in here saying like, hey, if you want to start like in narrative as like a more established vault peddling crew, then like maybe consider starting with 200 points.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, no. I think if you're actually starting a full campaign in this game,
Yeah.
120 seems like a really good point to begin with.
That being
Yeah.
said, go on, Adam.
I was gonna say, that just feels more balanced to me, too. Like, this felt, like, incredibly beefed up, as you said.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do you want to just, before we wrap things up, give the rundown on our 200-point characters?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Who wants to start?
I'll give this one a run, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So, my 200-point character, his name is Timothy. Timothy is a builder, a spoiler, and a clergy of the Tech Oracle variety.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
So,
Do you mind giving us the rundown of the read for builder and spoiler?
not at all. So, Builders are the progenial line of the first Xenos arrivals to the post-collapse world. The Builders got their name from their accomplishments in the New World. Long and serpentine with the snouts of canine and shaggy unkempt fur, the Builders are 9-legged and asymmetrical, measuring 3 to 4 meters in length. Builders have no time for mysticisms or vagaries of any kind. talk straight, be understood, or you aren't worth their time. And for the province...
What feat did you choose for Builder?
Oh, thank you, yeah. So I went with Old World Knowledge, which is a +1 bonus to research on a subject of your designation.
Hell yeah.
Out of curiosity, did you have a subject in mind when you picked that?
Something specifically related to computer programming or advanced tech systems.
Oh.
I'll have to sort of like... Basically, that general domain, we can refine it further.
Yeah, no, that works.
Yeah.
But in terms of... basically, he knows how to code.
I fucking love that.
It's fluent in Java.
So, spoiler description is delving the depths of old world vaults is a dangerous business. While it's great to plan for the worst and staff at Shepherd, a little bit of research goes a long way towards making sure their services aren't necessary. Your spoiler is responsible for that research, whether by on-site reconnaissance or diving into one of the academy libraries if you're close to a city. Spoilers always work on site for fear that radio communication breaks down. If their services are needed on the job, they have to be there to provide them.
Hell yeah.
And the spoiler feat I'm going with is the Golden Web, which is you are a predator, but not like the wasteful creatures of Evo that expend energy, time, and resources to track down their prey themselves. No, you're a spider in weight, delicate, sensitive, and able to wait for your prey. At the cost of 10 PC, which is...
Petty coin!
Petty coin. You're able to wait out and notice potential leads, and the archivist will provide you with a minor piece of relevant information.
So petty coin is our attempt at bringing meta currency into actual currency. It is the in-game currency, but it's also used to all magic items in Vault Peddlers have feats on them, just like you have feats, and they're activated at the cost of petty coin. Repairing your caravan costs petty coin. So yeah, it is both a meta and actual currency in the game.
Nice. And for background on Clergy and Tech Oracle, the description there is, in the world of Evo, some practitioners of faith tout the natural order of things, the progress of biology, and the right and true path of the living. Others, however, are drawn to the gears that twist in the heart of the world. The creatronics of the past sing with life to a tech oracle and whisper the histories of the world. And the feat I went there with is the Helix Calls. You have the ability to communicate with old tech to a limited extent. When attempting a network's role to communicate with old tech, you may choose to reroll once if you are unsatisfied with the result. So this all ties into the fact that this guy really knows how to code.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, very much.
And a breakdown of the stats is, to give a feel on this character, Timothy is an insufferable, pedantic, know-it-all little dork. He's a huge, shrill little nerd who thinks he knows everything, and as a consequence, he has 1 in all stats except for a 5 in ballistics, a 6 in logica because he's very smart. He's a very smart boy, he knows it. 5 in nebulae, and 5 in network.
Damn.
So a general sort of a big sort of repository of knowledge and analytical thinking and ability to figure shit out. Probably couldn't people skills his way out of a paper bag.
Right.
But absolutely knows how to deal with old technology and new and some of the more arcane as well, potentially. Which also includes a D8 in the following skills. Alchemy, Appraisal, Archival, Deductive, Magnum, Memory, and Naturalism.
Yeah. Oof. Damn.
However, you do not want him in any sort of combat situation ever.
What are his derived stats like?
So derived stats are oddly, well, I was going to say they're more balanced than Hank, but that's because we have 200. 7 to health, 12 to armor, and 7 to movement.
Nice. Cool.
So I can imagine this guy sort of ducking behind the other characters, frantically waving his hands in the air, avoiding, fire very effectively, but not actually doing much in combat. Being like, don't hit me!
Cool. So I built Mater, who is a golden roach. She's long and lithe and kind of corded strength underneath those metal plates. So I chose Error Riche, and let me read that. Like I said, there are analogs to elves. The Arashe are the arrival of Star Shatter energy dramatically transformed Eva. For the insect creatures living on the planet, this resulted in a drastic growth in size and intellectual capability. Unlike every other new native species, however, the Arashe didn't form any societies. Instead, they quickly melded with the existing societies around them. It is not uncommon to see them at any settlement or city, regardless of size, but their metal coating often makes them prime candidates for jobs requiring tough skin. Hell yeah, sexy gold cockroach. Which is exactly what I hoped my archivist would say to me. Alright, you're playing a sexy cockroach. For my feat, I chose flight. Once per session, move vertically as if you're moving across a flat horizontal plane. I just thought, yeah, it'd be cool for movement for a rope walker, which brings me to my next thing. I chose rope walker. Thieves. They'll get you what you need, but they might take what you have. Vaults are no joke. They have high-tech security measures, crumbling infrastructure, and occasionally even living people in there who are none too happy about intruders coming into their homes. That's where your rope walker comes in. Their responsibility is getting into difficult places, retrieving difficult-to-obtain MacGuffins, and dealing with unwanted company. If you are looking for someone to actually do the business of vault peddling, look no further. And what I chose for my feat is out of the shackles of bondage. A rope walker often gets their start in the cities of Eva, taking what they need to get by, more often than not, getting caught. Your time evading authority after being noticed for your crime serves as a boon in the vaults. At the cost of 2 action nodes during combat sequences, when your movement would normally be considered challenged, i.e. you have somebody at an adjacent hex, which would normally cut your movement in half, you may instead move as if unchallenged.
Nice.
Yeah. I crawl around the most... It's essentially playing Nightcrawlers in It's Always Sunny. And I chose Artisan, which is of the merchant background. Sand wrought to raw molten form, twisted and blown, a vase of imaginable beauty. Iron smelted and tempered, hammered and refined, a sword of immeasurable savagery. The same men craft them, artisans. Those that take the raw resources of Eva and from them rear life. Artisans make the world of the post-collapse go round, and they keep the great cycle rolling. And I chose Speculator. You have an eye for old tech. When attempting to assess the value of an artifact, you may re-roll a failure.
So to be clear, you're a sexy gold cockroach that used to run a Costco, but now you kill people.
Yeah.
I love how the roaches are running the Costco. The inmates are running the asylum just kicked up a notch.
Hey Taylor. The Roaches Are Running the Costco's your new album. You're welcome.
That's a beautiful yes, it is. That is correct.
Cool. Yeah, so that's what I chose. Breakdown of attributes. I'm actually kind of bounced around on this one. I have
real quick, which feat did you actually do in Artisan?
Oh, Speculator.
Okay. Gotcha.
You have an eye for old tech. I can reroll failures on basically appraisal rolls.
Nice.
So I have a 5 in ferocity and a 5 in obfuscation. I have a 4 in logica, a 3 in networks, and a 2 in clockwork. And then from there I have a 1 in holistics, a 1 in nebula, a 1 in tribalism. And then as far as skills go, I have a D8 in Composure, Deductive, and Grace. I have a D6 in Appraisal and Memory, Parlay, and Repair. So yeah, that's basically my character. It ended up giving me a 10 in HP, which was actually kind of surprising. A 7 in movement nodes, and a 9 in armor nodes. Kind of a spongy rogue.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go on to mine then. So I already read the description for Polyutar before. Basically, the idea is that They are sentient trash. Old society, the old world, left a bunch of trash in its wake. That's related to the economic or environmental collapse that led to its destruction in the first place. That trash eventually became sentient, and that effectively forms the Polyutar. For my species feat, I took the smog feat. For X action points, which we have not distinguished yet, we need to do that.
Yeah.
A Polyutar creates a thick smog covering all surrounding hexes, forcing all affected creatures away from the area on their next turn. So I decided to go... What's up?
No, that's dope. You chose crowd control, baby.
Yeah, hell yeah. I went with Weaver for Province. Weaver is magicians. They see through the weave, but sometimes the weave sees back. Sand in the gears doesn't quite describe the level of complication the arrival of Star Shatter inflicted on Eva. In addition to dealing with old tech systems, shady negotiators, and natural dangers, Vault Peddlers also face arcane threats while on the job. This can come in the form of corrupted old tech, the influence of New World deities, or even just other awoken Vault Peddlers. Whatever the threat, it's the responsibility of the Weaver to identify these threats and take them out before they become too serious. I took the feat... Where is it here? Oh, here it is. I took the feat Arcane Fortification. Although you can't cast spells like some other casters, you can call upon magical energy with extended rituals to increase your natural reflexes and abilities. Roll Magum once per contract and apply all extra bonus successes to your HP, armor, or movement as you see fit. These additional nodes may deplete over the course of the contract as the magic wears off, pending GM discretion.
Damn.
So, in other words, I'm very powerful, and I can make myself even tougher if I don't choose.
You sound like a kid I don't like on the playground right now. Actually, my character's very powerful, and I can make you less powerful.
I am very powerful.
All right.
And then I threw a wrench into the gears, and I went with Cursed Deminoct. Providence of the dreaded pirates of the mountain skies. The Nocturines, with their black cowls and ships and lifeless iron masks, the Deminoct share a frightful visage. But that's all. That's all?
That's all they share.
That's all they share.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. I was like, that's all? That's it? Cursed at birth to wear an iron mask, twisted and contorted to a face of dread, the Deminoct can be of any species. They are often shunned from polite society, but any Vault Peddler worth their salt has tales of bravery and friendship with those unlucky enough to bear this mark. We mentioned before that the two feats are the same, but I went with that little voice in my head. Your mask is a vessel for a sentient spirit of your choosing. Describe the spirit and gain +1 in a skill of your choosing, explaining how the Deminoct helps with this skill. We'll get to that here in just a second.
Let's explain the Nocturine a little bit beyond what we just did. So, like, just because a little lore setting stuff, the Nocturine are like, they're sky pirates. They just wear black cloaks and have iron masks and run through the mountain skies on iron ships and basically anchor down on settlements and tear them apart. And they don't talk, and nobody knows what the fuck's up with them.
That's awesome. Folks, I hate to be abrupt here. I do have a hard stop at 8:45.
Yeah.
So this was awesome.
Dang.
Well, it was fun having you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was an absolute blast. And is there a possibility down the line of us playing one of these digitally?
Yes.
One of these campaigns?
Absolutely.
It better be. We've done a fuckload of work.
That's a rhetorical question for the audience, because I would love to join that. You folks got that one mobilized.
Yeah, for sure. You're on board for playtesting.
Awesome.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Corey. Thank you, Taylor. Hopefully soon, Hank will ride in force.
Hell yeah, baby!
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Take care,
Cheers.
Adam.
Later, Adam.
Okay, so...
Yeah, Taylor.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, finish up your character here, baby.
Oh, yeah. So, I had 200 points to play around with, and I went hard on the Weaver. So I took an 8 in Nebulae, I took a 5 in Clockwork, 3 in Holistics, Logica, and a 2 in adaptation and tribalism. So pretty evenly spread out for the most part. Not really built for like combat or physical combat, anyways. It's my skill to take an extra rank in Magum, which brings me all the way to a D12.
Damn.
In Magum. Yeah, I maxed that bad boy out.
Yeah.
And then I have a D8 in Alchemy. I have a D6 in Hardiness, D6 in Naturalism, and a D6 in Traversal. My derived statistics, my health nodes, I have 11. I have 9 armor nodes, and I have 6 movement nodes.
Nice.
So pretty powerful. Like
Yeah.
I'm very powerful.
Yeah, dog. This has been fun. We did
This
it.
has been very fun. I feel I miss Adam. So what we need to do next is we have 2 groups of Vault Peddlers that we need to test our different caravan systems with.
Yep.
The caravan has been the bane of our existence for the last month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
And we realized after weeks of debate that the only way to solve this was to actually make some characters, get them ready to go, and then try and build the caravans based on those characters.
And
so that's what we've done here today.
And by we realized, we mean Elstragoon told us.
That is very true. We should not take credit for that. That is entirely Elstragoon. Thank you so much. That's what we're going to be doing starting next week. We're going to be
condensing the rules.
Taking these groups of Vault Peddlers, and we are going to start making caravans with them and just see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been a blast, everyone.
This has been so much fun. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in.
Have a great year.
Yeah, have a great year.
This has been an awesome year for me. Not in, besides the general unpleasantness.
Doesn't that feel like the shittiest thing to say?
I know.
Because it's the same for me. It's been an amazing year for me.
But
and
in specifically to the context of this game, this has been amazing. Everyone who's been Elstragoon, thank you for watching all the time.
Real MVP.
This is, I've been playing tabletop games since I was 12 years old, and to be making one with my best friend it's really cool.
Aww. Who's that?
Hey,
Who's
what's
that
up?
person?
Oh, Elstragoon. Taylor, you're my best friend. What's up?
I set you up and you fucking spiked it. No, that is exactly what I wanted you to do. It's beautiful. Mwah, mwah. Hang on, yeah, Elstragoon wants something. And I feel like we owe them.
Just pointed me to a Discord that's full of people. Oh, neat.
Oh shit.
Link it.
Yeah, please link it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, we absolutely do.
Link us. Also, I want to point out that Taylor bought me these hard-to-find RPG books.
What is with okay? I want to talk about this for just a minute. Unknown Armies looks tight as hell, but why the fuck is that box set selling for $500?
Because they're basically out of print because of the issues with what do you call it?
Supply chain stuff?
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to get you the actual box set because for those of you who aren't familiar, Unknown Armies, the box set has this very cool, the actual box folds out into a DM screen, which is so tight. Yeah, man, I love you a ton. You are a very important person to me. $500 is a fucking lot to ask.
That being said, this has been great. Everyone, thank you for joining us on here. And yeah, I will see you all next year for more Vault Peddlers.
Fuck yeah!
Woo! All right, bye.